What are the critical risks to your retirement? A CFP certified financial planner can help you to strategize, to address them, reduce or minimize those risks. And we are here today with Chicagoland's certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP, founder at TJ Stearns Inc. on Protect and Grow. Lots of important information, and we'll be covering the top risks to your retirement, how to plan to address them. And we always appreciate your time on the program, Tim, author of the book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. So you know all about these risks.
I think I do. And, I don't think a lot of people that are getting ready for retirement really know them definitively. And what I mean by that is that they have ideas of different risks that are out there, but to define them in this show, I think is going to be very helpful. I know baby boomers, 61% of them are worried that they're going to run out of money in retirement. In 1978, the 401ks came into vogue. That was their early years in their career. And now their biggest asset is their 401k. And, you're a net seller of assets in retirement. And so you need to either make sure your money lasts or make it grow, or do a little bit of both. And you need to have a plan for that.
Well, if there is a potential risk or problem, the best way to address it is head on. And that's what we will be talking about here with Tim Stearns, CFP, on the Protect and Grow program. So lots of important information coming your way. As always, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to be in touch and to get your own specific, individual, customized, and written Protect and Grow plan for your financial future. If you would like to get that with the help of a certified financial planning professional, pick up the phone now, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Or you can go online, always available 24 hours a day at tjstearns.com, tjstearns.com. Another great way to be in touch with Tim Stearns, CFP, and the team there at TJ Stearns, helping you with your holistic, comprehensive planning efforts, your investment, your financial, your retirement planning, and management. So again, 800-640-2256. Tim, with this number one risk, it struck me an interesting stat here. At age 65, married couples have a 50% chance of living to 92. That means about half of them are living past 92. We've got a plan for a long retirement.
Well, when we're doing income allocation plans for people, we are always looking at 30 plus years. And, usually one of the spouses says, oh, well, I'm not going to live that long. But what if one of them does, right? And so you need to make sure that that dollar stretches, because the last thing you want to do is be in your 80s and realize that you either retired too early, you spent too much, those types of things. A lot of the people don't have a pension, so they don't have, the ability to fill up their bucket every month, right, with a new fresh cash from a pension. So the worry is, will I run out of money? 30 plus years retirement, a lot of people think that doesn't sound that doable. It really is. People are living longer and longer. And as the great Tom Hegna talks about, who we've had on our show, the longer you're around, the more things can happen, whether it means long-term care, inflation, deflation, et cetera. There's a lot of things in there. So it begs the question, why do you not have a plan?
Longevity, the risk multiplier, as Tom Hegna put it, because if you only live 3 or 4 years, is market volatility, is inflation, is taxation really that big of a detriment to your retirement? No, it was the short amount of time. But if you live a long amount of time, the chances are multiplied that you will see not just one market downturns, but multiple market downturns, that you will see inflation truly impact your purchasing power, that you will see potential legislative and tax law changes, and of course, those unpredictable surprises. That's why longevity, the number one risk multiplier, and the number one risk that retirees worry about because of that longevity, Tim. You may outlive your money. This is a big worry and concern in the minds of many savers and investors. I will say that maybe there are a group that this is not a concern, but I think everybody wants to be as efficient as possible in addressing this question, correct?
Well, you don't want to take out too much and you don't want to take out too little. Too little means you're probably not enjoying your retirement. And we're looking at these people that, who are not going on the trips that they should have done because they didn't have a plan. So, when we get down to brass tacks with people and do a plan, We show them, here's how you're going to pay your monthly bills. All right. You have maybe an annuity or a dividend fund that's paying out a certain amount of income to shore up where your Social Security or your pension falls short. And then obviously you would have a growth bucket. And in that growth bucket, you're going to have the money that can do things like, oh gosh, our dishwasher went out, or hot water heater, that type of thing. Or, great things like taking that trip that you've always wanted to do, or taking the grandkids to Disney, what have you. We can do that by having a plan in place.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the number of centurions, those 100 years of age or above in the U.S., grew from 53,000 in 2010 to over 90,000 in 2020. So almost doubling in that decade. And by 2030, there will likely be over 130,000 centurions. Now, this is not even the baby boomer wave of generation, Tim. In fact, the baby boomers, the first wave, will reach that 100-year mark in the year 2046. And they estimate that by 2060, there will be over 600,000 centurions, citizens over 100 years of age in the United States. That is a staggering statistic, a lot of folks reaching that milestone. But that means that planning is going to be essentially important in helping to support a comfortable standard of living throughout that time.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. I remember Willard Scott used to do the 100, celebrating people who had turned 100. And do you know why him and Smuckers stopped doing it?
Had to, because it was taking up too much time on the program, right?
Right. Too many people were turning 100. So it's one of the slides that we have in our retirement workshop, just to show people longevity is out there, and it can be a risk multiplier in retirement. But all is not lost. If you have a plan and you plan it out 30 plus years or so, you can show people that it is doable to get through it and to live a good retirement.
And that's why Tim Stearns, CFP, authored the book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. If you would like your copy, be one of the first 10 callers to today's program. We've got those reserved for you. If you've got $500,000 or above saved for your retirement, all you need to do is pick up the phone and give a call now to get your copy of Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. 800-640-2256 is the number to call. That is 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, risk number two, something that's outside of our own individual specific circumstances. It's a systemic problem that we need to plan carefully in spite of, which is the U.S. national debt. Risk to your retirement number two, Tim.
Well, the reason why that's a risk to us is that the government spends as if they're printing money every day. Well, the problem is that they have to get the money from somewhere, right? And what does that do? That means they more than likely will have to raise taxes. I don't know how else they're going to do that to pay down the deficit. One of the things we do in our workshops and our retirement classes is ask people, do you think taxes are going up? And everyone raises their thumb,
Yes.
Gives me the thumbs up.
Yes, we do.
Right. So the other thing I say, what is another fallacy that we have in retirement? That your taxes, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket. They've proven that to be not true. So how do we mitigate that? Well, you have to make sure that when you're doing your plan, you take into the fact that more than likely taxes are going up in the future. And that has to be, your pound of flesh that you're going to give to the government. Most of us have 401ks, not Roth 401ks. So we haven't paid taxes on it yet. And they're coming after that. You take the tax deduction today, and down the road, you're going to be paying for it, unfortunately.
The national debt is the accumulation of year-over-year budget deficits. And by the way, it has tripled in the last 15 years, currently over $34 trillion and growing just mind-blowingly quickly. You can go to usdebtclock.org to see those numbers click faster than you can even comprehend. But to reduce the current debt, Tim, we've kind of got two options, right? We can either create surplus by increasing revenue, which is taxes, or cutting expenditures. And the way that I look at it, Congress and the government just never cuts expenditures and spending.
No, they just raise taxes on us. And the other thing I've talked to a lot of people about is that, not only does the tax bill expire at the end of 2025, so right now might be a good time for Roth conversions. If you haven't gone through that exercise just to see what that looks like, I would do so. But the other thing that's going to expire is the federal estate tax. Right now it's what, 17 million per person that we're able to give to our children. Well, most of us don't fall into that category, but it is going to sunset or go back down to the original level of $5 million. And a lot of people would say, well, that's still not me. But I will say this: many members of Congress have said that they want to move it down, down to the 3 million, maybe $1 million mark. Even, certain people have said that. Gives me pause to think they're coming up after the middle and upper middle class. It's not going to just be the uber wealthy that get hit with that, because they're missing out on dollars and they're greedy and they're going to go after it.
Yeah. And Tim, even if it's not you today, if you are of a certain echelon, wealth, net worth, and the money continues to grow, how likely is it that you fall into one of those categories that's a potential target into the future, right? 10, 15 years from now, the size of that nest egg, if we've got good growth, it could easily surpass some of those levels and benchmarks that they have talked about bringing that estate tax down to. And why estate tax? Well, because people aren't around to complain about it, and people who receive a large amount of money often don't complain as loudly either. And so that's a big part of it. But Tim, it's not even estate taxes that's going to get most people. Most people have not even paid the first level of tax, which is income tax on that retirement savings, right? Is that retirement nest egg, the tax deferred nest egg that you talked about? We've been deferring and delaying taxes. Well, if taxes go up, those dollars are still subject to that in our lifetime or beyond. And by the way, according to the 2022 Congressional Budget Office report, we don't have 2023's yet, but the most recent year, 2022, we just about spent all of our tax revenue before Congress even took a seat in obligatory non-discretionary spending. We brought in 4.9 before Congress even whispered about anything they wanted. We spent 4.6 of it. And so, Tim, like, once Congress takes a seat, they like to spend money too. We went way over yet again. No signs of slowing down. So that at some point in time, are going to have to increase those taxes, right?
Peter, obviously something needs to give. And the only way they know how to do it is not balance the budget. They want to spend. So yes, they're going to raise taxes. And, I tell people that all the time: be ready for that. When we're doing a plan, if someone tells us they can live on, let's just use an arbitrary number, $100,000, we'll ask them, is that $100,000 from your 401k, or is that a net number that you're using, from savings or something like that? And it gives them pause because they don't realize the tax bill. One of the other things that we'll do for people, if you're out there and you don't know what your tax bill is going to be in retirement, give us a call and we can show you through our reports what your tax bill looks like. Give us a call and we'll be able to run that for you. We don't charge for that, but wouldn't you like to know what the price of admission to retirement is going to be? I would. Why would you if you're going to go, into retirement, know exactly what the taxes are going to look like?
Yeah. And again, that report that Tim Stearns, CFP, and the team at TJ Stearns can run for you, ladies and gentlemen, mind blowing, kind of comparing side by side. What is your bill likely to be if you continue to defer to the IRS's plan for your retirement accounts versus if you're proactive and manage it as such? And the difference is again, mind blowing, well worth the time to get just that report run, which is, by the way, all included part and parcel as part of the Protect and Grow written retirement income plan. So if you'd like to see that, as well as a Social Security optimization report, a risk analysis, the tax analysis, and talk about the comprehensive income planning, how to map out that order of operations and the order of accessing what accounts for retirement, pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. And Tim, speaking of Social Security, risk number 3 is just that. Social Security, it kind of ties into that national debt and the deficit we just talked about, but Social Security is in trouble as well.
Social Security is in trouble, my friend. They just, what, 7 months ago, they put out the uh, findings that they're going to move it back down to 2033 instead of 2034, that they're going to start to have some fiscal problems with, paying out. So one of the things that we see them doing is, they might do, we've talked about this in our classes, means testing or raising the age of full retirement. It started out at age 65 and now it's 67. Most of the baby boomers are in the 66 range, right? So we need to be cognizant of the fact that, Social Security, they might not give you the cost of living adjustments. There's a lot of different things that they could do. And the longer they wait to fix this problem, the less and less options that are out there for them.
It used to be back in 1945, Tim, that there was 41.9 workers to every one person receiving Social Security benefits. I forget what the latest stat is, but it's in the single digits. I think it's like four or six workers for every one. Now, they've been collecting the Social Security, Tim, since like 1935. You think with 89 years of compound growth that maybe just that bucket of money would be able to support, but actually 90% of Social Security funding comes from payroll taxes. So, will those funds be depleted? Will they have to cut those benefits? There are some potential fixes, some possible solutions, but nobody seems to be very willing to accept what some of those potential solutions are, Tim. They aren't very palatable or attractive, as Nikki Haley recently found out as she proposed that retirement age be moved up to 70.
Right. And that's a hot potato, right? Especially this year. No one's going to ever fix that, in a presidential election year, that the last thing they want to do is be the party that screwed up Social Security, or, because there's no glory in that defeat. So that is one thing that I would be concerned about with Social Security. And again, that comes in with having a plan, making sure that you know exactly what you're dealing with. If Social Security isn't there, or you get a haircut on it, what does that look like to your plan?
Now they have moved that Social Security age back before, Tim. It used to be 65. Now it is 67. They graduated that over a period of decades, and maybe just because they did it before, that is something they're likely to do again. But that doesn't mean that's when we have to wait to retire either. It's just that if we want to retire before that age, we better plan all that much more carefully and proactively, which is what you do with a lot of your clients there, is plan for maybe not having that dependence on Social Security, but it being there as a piece of kind of icing on the cake, if you will, correct?
Yeah, or the cherry on the sundae is what I say. You need to, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the show. It's not about how much assets you have, it's how much income is generated off those assets and how you're going to do that. Just having a stock appreciate doesn't exactly generate income, right? So we need to figure out how to do that. Maybe it's through a dividend, maybe it's through an annuity, but I mean, it's all about being able to pay your bills in retirement. And Social Security, sure, that goes into the plan, but it's not going to be something that I would count on totally.
And risk number 4, hand in hand, is another one of those retirement entitlement systems that we depend on, Medicare. And then, Tim, the real risk, I think, unplanned healthcare expenses, right?
Yeah. And that would be coupled with long-term care, right? I mean, you're looking at the fact that some people to this day think that Medicare covers long-term care, or that, they're usually speaking of Medicaid, and even that doesn't do that. So how are you going to get through retirement when 7 out of 10 Americans are going to need, on average, are going to need long-term care, right? And 9 out of 10 of us haven't even addressed that. I harp on that so much with people because, 1 in 1,000 thousands of people are going to burn their house down, right, in their lifetime. And, we have home insurance. Even if you own the house, you have home insurance. But the chances of us needing long-term care is 7 out of 10, right? And 9 out of 10 of us haven't looked at it. These hybrid life insurance policies that are out there now are excellent to address that, at least to mitigate some of the costs that, and transfer the risk to an insurance company instead of on your back. But yeah, that's the stuff that we worry about.
Well, and those healthcare expenses, something that you need to plan very carefully, not only just the price today, but they are increasing faster than almost any other price. You may not think so if you go to the grocery store, but they are significantly increasing in the expense of that care over the course of the past several decades. But risk number five, Tim, is that everything else gets expensive as well. Inflation will take a bite out of your retirement nest egg.
We call it the silent thief, you know. And one thing I always love to do in class is show people what that looks like. I ask them what they paid for gas when they first started driving, and you know, you get anything from 50 cents to maybe a dollar, and you know, now they look at, you know, around here it's 3.29 a gallon, you know. And that's inflation at its worst, you know. And the component that you're thinking, well, you know, my cost of living adjustments from Social Security, which you already said is in jeopardy a little bit, that's going to keep up with it. The cost of living, I don't think that's a thing. And as we know, they strip out a lot of components that show inflation out of there. So they say they can look you straight in the face and say, "Hey, there's no inflation this time. You know, it's only 2% when we're stuck at, you know, over 3% for the last 115 years."
And Tim, at 3%, if the cost of life is $5,000 today, in just 20 years, that is almost double. It is over $9,000 a month. That is inflation working against you. And it's not just those things that I bought 20 years ago, Tim, that have gotten more expensive. It's how many things have I added to that budget? I mean, technology costs and expenses, the internet, the cell phone, the streaming package, all of these things were not even thoughts in the budget 20 years ago. Now everything else is more expensive, and we've added those items.
Right. And you know, every streaming service costs. I mean, there's just so many things that, you know, the pile on that you're looking at. So yeah, I would definitely, you know, make sure that you're understanding what inflation can do to your dollar, because it can really decimate what your purchasing power is, especially like we start off this show about a 30-year retirement. Can you imagine?
And number six on your list of these top risks that every plan must address, everything else. You never know what the future holds, but Tim, we've got to talk about market volatility, cybersecurity, data breaches, underfunded pensions, geopolitical risk, pandemics. The world is an unpredictable place. And when you're trying to retire peacefully with confidence, all of those things can rock the boat.
Exactly. And one of the things I start off with in class is, if you'd told me that the Ukraine war would still be going with Russia, you know, now almost 2 years ago, I would have told you were a fool and crazy, you know, because you would have thought Russia would have squashed them like a bug. You know, but obviously we've propped them up over here. But the issue here is that things that are out of our control can affect our retirement. If you remember, that war, that starting of that war is what started the bear market in 2022. So how do you get around that? Well, you make sure that your money is tactically invested, actively invested, and making sure that you have some stop losses, or you're hedging, or you're holding some uncorrelated assets so that the unexpected don't decimate your purchasing.
Expect the unexpected. In fact,
Exactly.
that is what a plan is all about, right, Tim? That is why you go through the process of helping your clients design that protect and grow plan to address the unexpected and some of these known risks to our retirement.
Yep. And you want to make sure you get ahead of it, you know, and these are the things that, you know, by having a plan and having the income taken care of, yeah, maybe you take a hit in your portfolio that you're not going to be able to take that trip that you've always wanted to, but you're paying your bills and you're not locking in losses trying to go into a portfolio that took a hit. And now you've locked in that loss forever.
Well, if you would like to get your protect and grow plan put together, if you would like a copy of the book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, Tim Stearns, CFP, your certified financial planning professional resource, ladies and gentlemen, Chicagoland, you've got the resource there to get a protect and grow plan in your hands, the written plan for retirement confidence to address these risks and more. Pick up the phone and give a call. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256, or you can go online, available 24 hours a day. Skip the phone call altogether and go to tjstearns.com, tjstearns.com. And Tim, another very important opportunity that I often forget to mention, and I don't want to be remiss to do so again, is that you teach the strategies that are so vital to retirement confidence to Chicagoland area savers and investors and universities throughout the area.
Yeah, Peter, and I welcome people to attend via Zoom or in person. Our workshops are free, and I know that people take away a lot of valuable information in there. We cover the gamut: Social Security, Medicare, inflation, income allocation, investments, insurance, long-term care. You name it, we cover it. And a lot of people afterwards will want to come and meet with us because we've brought up, hey, I don't know what my tax bill is going to be in retirement. So again, if you're out there and you don't know exactly what retirement's going to look like, come see us and we can kind of go through it and at least come to the class and get some knowledge. And again, you can attend via Zoom or in person. The takeaways are the same from that.
Fantastic opportunity for you to learn more, plan for a more stable, secure, and confident financial and retirement future, ladies and gentlemen. Pick up the phone and give a call if you would like to attend one of those upcoming courses. If you would like to personally and individually structure your Protect and Grow plan, no cost, no obligation. It is just an extension of the education here on the program. Or if you would like to start with the copy of Tim's book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. For the first 10 callers today with at least 500,000 saved, call now. You can get a copy of that book in your hands. So don't delay, call now. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. Tim, always a great program here with you on Chicagoland's Protect and Grow.
Peter, thanks for having me. I look forward to talking to everybody out there who wants to retire successfully.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stern's full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals or growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.